Welcome back to Cure for the Common Game. Today we're going to talk about 281, Kwende. Now, from what I have listened to from the story so long, he's not a real white-aligned white legend. Anyway, it's pretty obvious when you read this guy the kind of delineation that I was going to go with him. Obviously, I'm going to run more or less tribal first strike. So, I guess first we'll go through the mound o' creatures with first strike. A lot of these I just try to use like fun ones, cards that you don't normally use, because when you turn stuff like, when you turn first strike into double strike, it makes Balinock Cohort hit for 6. That's pretty sweet, yo. Kel Jordan's Sky Captain. I used to think this card was amazing back in Ice Age, and I don't know it even as a 5-mana double strike, it's not amazing. But of course, there was a tinier version. I guess we'll get to it in a minute. Kel Jordan Phalanx. Now, I guess there is. I did pick some banding cards, so there's a banding sub theme. I guess I don't know. Celestial Archon, because it works when you bestow it on your general, because that's pretty sweet. Light Wielder Paladin, hating on the black cards. Sky Hunter Patrol. Tried to use as many flyers as I could, because flying double strike is pretty nice. Even Danitha, she's got the first strike. Shepherd. Razorfoot. Here again, the Griffin's not that bad when you look at it like it's dealing 4. Paladin of X, real good. Of course, the archetype of Courage. This takes away the first strike from all the opponents. I mean, most of our creatures, all but like 2, have first strike, so it doesn't really grant us much, but it does. If you've got first strike and your opponent has first strike, it's kind of almost like nobody does. So this here kind of tips the scales in your favor. Oh, there's the baby one. I don't know. Like I said, I tried to go as deep as I could with first strike creatures. There is randomly a knight or 2 in here, but double strike for 3. Tivadar, because if you just gotta hate out a goblin. Order of Leetbeer, Consul's Lieutenant, Sarah Disciple. It does have first strike. I don't know. You're not gonna get a whole lot of historic triggers, but 1/1 double strike for 2. I don't guess that's terrible. Lone Rider, Knight of Dawn. Hey, there's a knight that can be granted that indestructible. Precinct Captain, White. Shoot, there's a bunch of knights now that I'm looking at it. Knight of Grace, Youthful Knight. It's okay. So we have a knight sub theme. Maybe I should have put the old dude in here. Kithkin. Probably the first card I ever interacted with that had first strike was Thunderwolf. Now, obviously, it wasn't. It was the I think the unlimited one, but 1 mana double strike is not bad. They're same card essentially. Another flyer, 3/3 flyer for flying double strike for 5. That's not bad. Because we're getting that added value. Now, granted, you're going to want to keep Kwende alive. Now, Shadow. Wow. That's fun. Sigil Paladin. Pegasus. Capshon Knight. Another 1/1 first strike. Then we start to get into like the high mana cost stuff. Ancestors Chosen. It's 4/4 double strike for 7. Now that's not great. His ability is, if you draw it late game, I suppose after the board's been wiped a bunch, maybe. But Angel of Retribution. when you start swinging in for 10, she starts becoming worth the 7. No, no, she doesn't. Yeah. I don't really use this angel quite a lot, so trying to cross off cards off the list, I guess. And of course, we have a Chroma. Chroma's just a beast anyway, and when you replace first strike with double strike, she just gets ridiculous. And of course, we got a little bit of ramp, not a lot. I mean, Soul Ring, Mind Stone, Marble Diamond, the Shard, and the Thunder Totem is going to help us power out some either Kwende quicker or just in general everything. Now, the beautiful part about the Thunder Totem here is the creature it turns into will actually use this for something besides mana. It flies and first strikes, so that's pretty sweet when your mana rock can deal 4. Let's look at our extensive removal package here. Humble. I was in a game last night with my son, and Humble absolutely is worth its weight in gold, which, by the way, just a little tidbit of information, because the price of gold fluctuates on a daily basis. I believe, technically this is not worth its weight in gold, but I want to say the weight of a Magic card, its weight in gold is like $86 or in some change or something. It changes from day to day, but it hovers around that mark, 85 to 90. And so if you get a card that's $90 or more, it is literally worth its weight in gold. Anyway, Humble's a good card. Crib Swap, excellent for those indestructible creatures. Disenchant. All right. Now, Disenchant is the old staple. I mean, that's the litmus test that we all throw removal up against for artifacts and enchantments. And for some reason, Illumination blows people's minds. It's like, whoa. But it's really no different. And to be honest with you, it's a strictly worse card because it's an artifact enchantment removal that you have to have the two specific white, open when it's cast. And then they gain life equal to, yeah. I'm running it as another copy of Disenchant, obviously, because I think if you want the Illumination, you probably want the Disenchant too. Now, to return to Dust, another Darksteel Forge is a thing, man. I mean, it really is. That's a real card, and there's a lot of cards like it. Erase, just good old-fashioned 1 mana, get rid of that thing. Now, I do like the Aura Blast, too. It is linear, just the enchantment. You don't have a lot of, versatility here, but it does draw you a card. Celestial Purge requires a certain deck building cost. And the cost I'm talking about is last night, as in the same game I was playing my son, and he was playing mono green, and I drew Celestial Purge. Now, luckily, I had a discard outlet, and, I could still make some kind of use of it. But, yeah, it's just going to sit in your, for 1v1 like we were doing in the living room in there. It's, obviously, my decks are not really made for 1v1. It's typically the more players, the better. Because, Tribal First Strike is a little underpowered and can die to a whole lot of wipes. Seal Away, awesome. Flash, Pacifism, Rebuke, Sword to Plowshare, Condemn. Now, here again, Condemn, you never want to condemn their general because it's just not, self-serving to do so. We have Vanishing Light, Planar Outburst, and by far the best mono whiteboard wipe I know of, Mass Calcify. Because, I mean, when you just got a Plague Wind, this is how you do it. Okie dokie. Now let's look at the, here's our, now, yeah, she probably doesn't really need to be in there, but not for the first strike ability. But Vigilance is mighty, mighty nice. And we got a few lifelinker. Not many. but she's in there mainly to grant vigilance because, we are heavy creature and we need some blockers. Now, Krovax is the other guy that just does not have first strike, but I figured in mono white I had to do it. It's also the bane of goblins and elves and sapperlings, and just ooh. I'm running the Leonin Sun standard, which is definitively less than Honor the Pure, Glorious Anthem, every other single one. But I don't know. I like it. And the fact that it's just a late game beating. I mean, because there are times, and we've all been there, where you draw like, a land for turn 13, and you're like, well, guess I'll just mega pump my dudes. Brave the Sands. I mean, here again, I like vigilance and being able to block 2 creatures. Of course, we got a Holy Day. You got to watch. I use Holy Day as a. Last night, if I'd had a Holy Day, I'd have won. Because they'll overcommit to the attack to kill you, and knowing they can lose on the crackback. But when you've got the Holy Day, sometimes you just a win. And the last card I have is probably the most broken card in all of mono white. If you're playing mono white, I firmly believe that we should be running Blinding Light. It's just beautiful. I mean, it's for when you got to get through. That Alpha Strike has to happen. That player has to die. Tap everything that ain't white and enter your attack step. Well, that's what I've got for Kwende. I do appreciate you watching. As always, the deck list is in the show notes there, so take a look at it, tell me what you think. But right now, we are going to shuffle and cut.